pronounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all want a ring. Yeah, we all want to be free.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I got to fix the score there, but the Detroit Lions defeat. They beat up on the Jacksonville Jaguars 40-14, and I am here with Dan. Maybe some more will come on here in a little bit. I know Herman will get on here in a little bit. Dan, man, Lions get a victory. What's up, man? How you like it?
Just a complete game by the Lions. I mean, all facets of the game. You had special teams getting good yardage on kickoff returns. The field goals were perfect. No questionable decisions from the coaching staff. Goff looked solid. The line looked solid. You know, I'm on Ron St. Brown, Shark. Good combo. Jameson Williams made a couple of guest appearances. And the defense keeps taking a few steps forward.
Man, it was a solid game, folks. Real solid. Just like the people that are in the chat right now. We got Paul Ginder, Joey Detroit Lions, Dr. Detroit, Psycho Demon, Man Bear Pig with the great name. We got Lions Fanimal, like the Danimal. We got Chrome in the building. Joey Detroit Lions. Mark, Dr. Detroit City, Dale D. Smitty. Awesome win here for the Lions. Man, you went blurry. You went blurry there real quick.
That.
So Dan went blurry. There we go. Now he's back. Who's your MVP of this game? And let me know in the comment section who you guys' MVP in the game is.
For me, boy, it's going to be tough. You know, and I guess I'll go Goff. I mean, he took care of the ball. He didn't put anything in harm's way. He's staying more and more in the pocket as far as in the tackles. Remember, he always used to kind of try to do some sort of spin move and get outside, but they've done a good job with containing him. I mean, he's never going to be a great upper echelon quarterback, but he has become more and more of a game manager. And I would say this, when he's got all of his receivers out there and he's not playing with some of the guys like, you know, Tom Kennedy or whatever, he seems to be fairly consistent.
We got in here, got Motor City Dan Campbell MVP, the whole team, Mark. We got Jared Goof by Walter. I got to say, Jared Goff, to me, was my MVP winner for this game as well. He played a really good game. And if you're a Lions hater, if you're a Goff hater, or you're a truther, or whatever, I just got to give credit where credit is due. And Jared Goff was 31 of 41 for 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 115.9. That is solid. And he just was standing in the pocket. The offensive line, too, it didn't hurt when the offensive line was absolutely stunning in this game. I thought Jared Goff did really good. And also, how about DJ Chark showed up in this game, 98 yards receiving. DJ Chark finally kind of came out for him. What do you think of Chark?
His best game of the season by far. I mean, he played like a man who was facing his former team and wanted to show him, hey, you should have signed me. But let's also not forget, I'm sure he's very aware Jameson Williams is on his heels. You know, Shark's on a 1-year deal. So whether the Lions retain him or whatever, I think these last 5 games, you're going to see some of his best ball, because whether or not it's to help Detroit, whether or not it's to remain, he's a guy playing for another contract.
Yeah, 100%, man. He out there, he was playing like he knows Jameson Williams is on his tail. It was very nice to see, and that's what you want to see. You want to see the competition get out there. Matthew says, love you guys, 40-14 Lions win. That was an absolutely killer game. Change the score up. Oh, god dang it. I'm always screwing the score up. Sorry, guys. Golly. 14. Every single time this is what I do. There, change the score. 40. 14. Detroit Lions with the win here. How about the flags? Lack of flags for the Lions. Only 2 flags accounting for Detroit. That's stunning. To me, that's a great job done by coaching. What'd you think about the Lions' lack of penalties?
It's a couple games in a row now that you've seen it consistently going down more and more. Campbell and his staff, while we all know they're not perfect, they don't have a ton of experience, but you do see the growth of the defense from the start of the year to where it is now. You see the offensive line where it used to get 4 or 5 holdings a game. Now it's almost non-existent, and except in rare situations. So the team is no longer beating itself, and that's probably why we've won 4 out of the last 5 games.
4 of the last 5 games. It sounds crazy, but it's 100% true. The Detroit Lions are trending in the right direction. Lovely to see 4 out of the 5 games. The victory, big game on Sunday, home against the Minnesota Vikings. And I didn't see who won that game at the end there. Let's see. I didn't get to see that one. Who won the Vikings game? Nothing there yet. Dang. Okay, Vikings did win. They beat the New York Jets. Good grief, man. Consistently getting the wins there. So that really sucks. Wanted the Vikings to lose that game, but they win. And Detroit's got to keep going on there. What do you think about DeAndre Swift in this game? Played well. Receptions out of the backfield. Ran the football well. Looked much better for DeAndre Swift this game than it has in many weeks.
Yeah, using him coming out of the backfield, he's one of the best backs around as far as catching the ball and doing something with it. And give Ben Johnson some credit. I think early in the game, you could see Swift was hesitant hitting the hole, just not quite himself. And whether that's the shoulder or just emotional, whatever it may be, Johnson put him out in space more and more. And I think once he got some of those touches, regained some confidence, and you could see in the latter part of the third quarter and definitely the fourth, you start seeing old DeAndre Swift start reemerging, the guy that we saw at the beginning of this season and throughout last year.
Yeah, it was really good to see DeAndre Swift out there and doing his thing. We need him to step up, and he stepped up in this game, and it was really nice. The Detroit Lions right now are 2 games out from a playoff spot. We are 2 games out. Seahawks ahead of us, and the Giants and Commanders are ahead of us with their ties. So one of those guys is not going to make it, and
right.
Seattle is about to score on the Rams. We want them to actually win this game for that draft pick, but hey, we're going to continue on
100%.
with their. Even look, we need a better draft pick. I'd love to get Jalen Carter. Watching him dominate's been absolutely amazing. Imagine this D-line. Aidan Hutchinson got a sack in this game. Him, Ali McNeil, 0.5. I think he's on 6 sacks for the season so far. What'd you think about Aidan Hutchinson's game? I thought he played all right. Yeah, there is times you didn't see him, but he got another sack, and he leads rookies with sacks at 6.
Yeah, I think you're seeing the coaching staff gain more and more confidence in him, especially dropping him into coverage. I want to say it was early in the first quarter. He nearly got a hand on a pass going across the middle. And you just see them expanding his role and his duties in more and more areas. He's not going to be, I think, ever a dominant 20-sack, 15-sack guy. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. But I think he does affect a ton of areas of the game. So as he develops some of his pass coverage in zone when they drop him, you see him against the run, especially anything that goes opposite side from him. And over time, I think, if he finishes this year with, say, 8 sacks, 9 sacks, I think you're starting to see the emergence of a guy that might not be a Lawrence Taylor type, but he might be somebody that you've got a game plan for every game.
James Houston, another sack. What the? This guy has limited snaps, and he's got 3 sacks out of 8 snaps. Holy smokes. James Houston has been balling for the Detroit Lions. You talked to me about James Houston before we went live. Thoughts of James Houston and what he's bringing to this defense?
Mike, I did a deep dive on him. I think it was earlier in the week. And here's what I'll say in a nutshell. He is a genetic freak of nature. He is the 1% of the population that can do what he does, as far as the way he's able to control his ankles, his knees, drop his shoulder, and maintain all of his speed and momentum as he's getting around blockers. I thought you saw it against the Bills, and you definitely saw it in the first half today. When he was out there, both of their tackles had real issues getting hands, keeping leverage, and keeping him in place. He's able to get around people so quickly. The only times he seems ineffective is against run plays and when he tries to rely on a bull rush. This guy, I think, will be a third down specialist for the Lions like we haven't seen in a long time. Or, if we put a team right before half or in the fourth quarter where they obviously have to pass every down, I mean, he is an absolute choo-choo train going through that offensive line of the other team, getting after quarterbacks.
Kirby Joseph, just seen it in the comments section. He had 8 tackles in this game, 7 solo. He's doing good. I mean, the draft picks for the Detroit Lions are really showing out, and this is the reason why we're having these games where we're starting to win games, is these players that we selected in the draft, these young players are becoming playmakers, and they're being solid contributors and making some noise. And that is a testament to Brad Holmes, what he has brought to this team regarding finding talent in all 7 rounds. Really good to see there for Detroit. Very, very nice to see. Jamison Williams, limited snap count. We all knew it'd be limited. He had 1 target. It was out of the ball wasn't even in bounds. The fans wanted to see Jamison Williams in this game. They wanted to see him get some big plays. They're chanting J-Mo, J-Mo. Is this kind of what you expected with Jamison Williams? Nothing in this game?
I figured he'd get 5 to 15 snaps max, but really, if you look at it, he's really only had 2 practices where he's gone all out in. So how much of the material does he know, the play calls, let alone his in-game conditioning? So I'm going to guess that if he had 5 or 6 snaps this week or whatever the total may be, you're going to see that slightly go up every game. And probably by the time we get to the last few games of the season, he'll probably be a force out there. He'll be somebody that, the restrictions are off. I don't know if he'll start, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does get some starts.
Yeah, I expected that very limited amount of snaps. I didn't expect him to get a whole lot, but I still wanted to see him get targeted a little bit more besides just 1 time. Every time he's out there, hold on.
To be able to come somewhere else, you're a free agent, you want to make your claim, stake your claim, and you had a big game. DJ Chark!
DJ Chark gets the game ball.
I just want to say I appreciate y'all for bringing me in. I spent, 4 years there, and I came here, and, every day y'all made me feel like I'm part of the team. That's the biggest thing for me. I'm feeling like I'm somewhere where I belong. Y'all made me feel like that, so I appreciate it.
Love the game ball to DJ Chark. It's fitting. He had a really good game for the Lions, almost 100 yards receiving. And he earned that game ball today, even though Amon-Ra St. Brown is absolutely deserving of the game ball as well. Amon first down, Amon-Ra St. first down, Amon-Ra St. touchdown. But fitting, giving it to Chark, played a hell of a game today. This was his great game. For him, his come-out game. He keeps playing like this. We'll talk about re-signing him. But before this game, he's been a no-show. But, hey, we got 5 more games to go. Let's see some Chark. Let's get Charknado going. Let's go. Give credit where credit is due. He played out of his mind today. Best game he's playing as a Detroit Lion. Love what I've seen from Chark. Happy got the game ball. And there. Let's talk about Amon-Ra first down. Amon-Ra touchdown. The Sun God. This guy's unstoppable. He is. This is what I saw when I was in training camp. This guy is just unguardable. He's unstoppable. He is a true number 1 wide receiver. I don't care if he's not the biggest guy in the world. This dude is open 24/7, and he catches everything, and he is a beast. He will take a hit. Did you see that hit that he took? Got up and played. What do you think about Amon-Ra first down?
He's about as unguardable as can be. I mean, I'm not going to say he's Jerry Rice or anybody like that, but Rice wasn't the fastest receiver ever on the field. But Rice's in and out ability, his ability to switch directions, get out of cuts quickly, and create separations, and that's exactly what St. Brown has. I mean, he's making receiving in the NFL look incredibly easy. Every week, if he doesn't get 7 to 10 to 11 receptions, you're kind of almost disappointed. And any receiver in this league would die for those numbers, yet he's making it look effortlessly out there. And you wait until, if Jamison Williams is as we all expect him to be, you put those two on the same side, and the defense has got to drop one or two safeties back to deal with J-Mo. There's only so many people left to help defend the run and then the middle of the field. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to have a field day with that guy.
Amon-Ra St. Brown he's becoming my favorite player now of the team. The guy has just proven week in and week out he's tough as nails. He's as tough as Anquan Bolden. This guy he's just everything that you want in a wide receiver. He literally is. And I loved Golden Tate when he was a Detroit Lion. I always loved him, but I'm putting him above Golden Tate. This guy he's unstoppable, man. Like, I've never seen anything like this. You can't stop Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's just open, and open. It's just amazing. And show some love to Amon-Ra St. Brown in the comment section. Put 14 in there. This guy is just absolutely fantastic. What a great draft pick by Brad Holmes. In my opinion, he is a Pro Bowler. I don't care if he goes to the Pro Bowl this year or not. He's a Pro Bowler, in my opinion. Amon-Ra St. Brown has earned it. The hit that he took there and he got right back up was just absolutely stunning. Just absolutely stunning there. So throw some love. Who's another player that we haven't mentioned that should be getting some love in here? Alex Anzalone. I thought he played really good in this game. It was probably one of his best games. He's shown in there. Jeff Okuda, I thought he played sound. Who's another player out there that we should give some love to?
Taylor Deckard. I thought today was probably his best game of the season. You didn't hear his name called. There was no penalties, no holdings. You didn't see anybody get around him. I mean, he's not a bad left tackle by any means, but he's not perfect. But today I thought if you watch him in the blocking assignments, you watch him in space, nobody was getting around him today, and the line overall played well. But if I'm going to call somebody out, I'm going to say Taylor Deckard today.
Yeah, the offensive line was Jared Goff could take a nap back there. It was unbelievable. That offensive line, man, it was absolutely stunning. I see a comment says, Mark says the entire defense, 100%. This defense is it's getting better and better. It is. And make no mistake about it, Jacksonville Jaguars offense is a good offense. And we shut them completely down. Now, it didn't hurt that they kept dropping everything. That's for sure. But I think, you know what I'm starting to believe? Because I've watched this defense now and how physical they are with Jerry Jacobs and Okuda and the linebackers, how they hit really hard. Do you think it's starting to get into the brains of some of these offensive players? Because that's what I'm starting to think now. This is what happens when you're a physical player. Safety, physical, and you hit really hard. It does get in the brain of a wide receiver. It's like, if I touch this, I'm going to get hit real hard. Do you think that's potentially what's going on here? Because I've noticed how physical they are, and I'm starting to see some of that.
100%. I mean, you start with just the corners. You talk about Okuda. You talk about Jerry Jacobs. To me, they're almost twins of each other. You look at their upper body strength, you look at their abs, and look at how they're able to just level people. I don't remember what game it was offhand, but there was one game where Okuda was going around and he was taking out even people on our own team. Hutchinson has ripped people's heads off out there at times. When he gets an opportunity, he's going head hunting. Barnes at times has looked great in that. Malcolm Rodriguez is good at it. Kirby Joseph, when he came out of college, was known as a ball hawk and a hitter, and he has laid the wood on many people this year. So while they've kept people in space, I have no doubt there are people out there that don't exactly love the idea of going across the middle of our defense for that very reason.
Yeah, and that's what I've always wanted from a team is a physical football team, because it brings that, it gets in the back of their mind, and they're incredibly physical right now. And you're seeing it from Kirby Joseph. Even Deshaun Elliott, he deserves some love in there, being one physical SOB. Offensively, they're physical. Like, this is exactly what we envision in the NFC North, a team that is not a finesse football team, but is a physical football team, and we're going to keep hitting you, and you're going to feel it. Whether you win or lose, you're going to respect this physicality, and they've done that. They've took that aspect of Dan Campbell and this coaching staff, and they've made a team turn into a physical football team. So huge shout out to the coaching staff and the players for buying into this. Give credit to Anzalone, too. Yes, 100% Dale. Alex Anzalone played really well in this game. Giving credit to Alex Anzalone. He played really well in this game. They're doing good on the blitz. He played well. Love what I saw there. Huge shout out to John Kaminsky. Bowling ball hand, knocking the ball down. And that's what it was. He did a really, really good job. Michael Badgley, the kicker, man. He's a good kicker. He's a good kicker. What do you think about Mike Badge?
Hey, we had a revolving door at kicker for the majority of the start of the season, but that seems to have been case closed now. There's nothing more you can really ask for him. A lot of his kickoffs go into the end zone. He doesn't have any accuracy issues. I don't know if he's got the strongest leg, but considering that the vast majority of your field goal attempts are going to be 50 yards or less, he seems fine from that range.
Yeah, he seems very comfortable. And, past 50, I'm a little but if it's like between 40 to 49 or anything before 49, I'm like, yeah, he's got this. And it's accurate. It's not far away. It's right in the middle. It's like, dang, man. Like, he's only missed one kick, Zach. He's 91, almost 92%. He's missed one kick. That is it. He's made everything else. If he keeps this up, again, 5 more games to go, I'm not going to draft a kicker. I'm going to just stay with Mike Badgley. That's what I'm going to do because I'm comfortable with what he's doing. So special teams played well. Justin Jackson in special teams played well, kept bringing it out past the 25, 35, to nearly the 40 every single time. Good coverage skills. This was an all 3-phase dominant game. All 3 phases were dominant. And that's something that we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, we're starting to see this team change. I was seeing in the chat when I was live streaming, same old Lions. I'm like, this is not the same old Lions. This is something different. They're a physical team. This is not the same old Lions. And Dan Campbell was very conservative play calling, taking the field goals. I was like, man, go for it. Why not? But I understand. Do you think that this team is different than what we have seen in years past?
Well, being a Lions fan since 1980, here's what I'll say. A lot of times in my life, you see them beat the Patriots with Tom Brady, and then the next week they lose to the Sisters of the Poor. And then the couple years ago we nearly beat the Chiefs, and then we lost to somebody, I don't even remember who, the following week. So to me, I thought this was going to be one of the biggest tests for Dan Campbell and company. Yeah, nearly beat the Bills. How were you going to respond after that? Were you going to lay an egg, or were you going to eke out a narrow win? I thought we'd win by 5, 6 points, something like that. I don't doubt nobody saw this coming. So to me, if you want to know if I think the Lions have changed, yes, I do. They dominated today. They kept in the playoff conversation now for another week. You got 5 weeks left, and if we can get just a couple more wins to keep the season going with focus, with interest, where these coaches and players have got a reason to get up and play under duress the rest of the year, I think that's only going to help us in the long term. It's easy to coach. It's easy to play when you know at the end of the day it doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's a little different when you feel that anxiety towards the end of a close game. And I'd say this, the longer Dan Campbell can keep this team trending in the playoff picture, that's going to help everybody come next year.
And I like how we're winning, a very physical team. Again, that's what we've never been that I can remember. Even when we were with Matthew Stafford and we had Calvin Johnson, I always thought this was a finesse team, a team that it's like, okay, you win, but you're not going to go far in the playoffs because you're just not that pound you in the face, make you feel it. Man, I'm watching this team, and I'm like, it's making you feel it. Like, they're hitting hard. They are physical, and every run is physical. Yeah, putting the shoulder down, hitting you. Every tackle seems to be more physical. The safeties are just smacking. It's glorious to see. It really is. And if I was to say this, the reason why I think it's not the same old Lions is because of that. That's why I think we're trending into being a different team. And I look at this game on Sunday. Yes, it's against the Minnesota Vikings. Do you think that there's a chance the Lions win it? Yeah. I'm not too worried. Like, yeah, they're a good team, but it's like we are too. We've won 4 of the last 5, and we are beating the hell out of people. So if you're looking at this, Minnesota at home, we have a chance to win that game. What do you think?
100%. I mean, think about last year. As horrible as we were roster-wise as a team, we nearly won both of those games. Then obviously the start of this year, we nearly win. Yes, I get we've traded TJ Hutchinson, but I would ask all Lions fans, have you even noticed him being gone? Since he's been gone, we've gotten a second-round pick from them, and we've won 4 out of 5. The tight ends are still producing similar to what he did on average. I get he had some games here and there where he'd go off the charts, but that doesn't seem to be slowing us down whatsoever.
You don't even miss T.J. Hawkinson. Brock Wright, he comes in there. We don't use the tight end as much as you would like to, and we got so many wide receivers and threats, like the pass game is completely fine. Our roster is decently strong. It is. Our roster is strong. And as the defense continues to get better, it's woof. We talked about this the first couple weeks of the season. If just the defense could just be the 31st ranked defense, the Lions win these games. Now the defense is like, okay, we're not garbage anymore. You know, we're all right defense. We're not the worst defense in the NFL. And it's showing the Lions now dominating. Only one offense. This was an amazing job by offense. There's only one possession we didn't score a touchdown, and that was us taking a knee. Sudfeld, he got in there. He finally got to do some snaps, 2 snaps, taking a knee. Do you think that we're going to lose Ben Johnson? It's starting to worry me at this point, man.
I think if he had another season or 2 of this, then I'd say he's a legitimate threat to go somewhere else. And, kudos to him if it happens. But I would say I'd be hesitant if I'm a general manager where my career is going to be tied to this coach. If he doesn't do well, then I'm out of job. So are you going to really hire somebody who's only got 1 season under him? Somebody might, but I'm trying to think what franchise that's going to be.
I just think like what they did over there for the Arizona Cardinals. They took a coach out of who didn't even have a winning record over there, but he was high on offense. And man, it's like a team. I'm a little bit worried about it. You got a guy like Ben Johnson who is just lighting offenses up, or lighting our offense up and lighting people up. It's really nice. What's up, Lions Gangster? We got William Alberts in the building. What are our offensive and defensive ranking the last 5 games? I don't know the last 5 games, but I'm pretty sure it's damn good. I don't have that stat on me right at hand, but I'm sure it's extremely, extremely good for offense and defense. Well, I want to say extremely good on defense, but offense pretty damn good, and defense mid. Just assuming, just kind of looking at it right now. We thought AG was leaving last year. That is true. I never seen you so excited during a game than today's game. It was comfortable. This is something that, as Lions fans, we're used to the cardiac cat games. That's what we're used to. We're used to games coming down to the last drive. There was none of that. Did you feel any pressure in the chat when you're watching this game like we're going to lose it? I didn't. Did you, Dan? I was just sitting back, relaxed, enjoying it.
It was almost boring in the second half, like Yawnville. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there were fans taking naps at Ford Field. There was never a moment where you started feeling the nervous tension, or they're going to blow it. They just dominated. Even when Jacksonville went on that 7.5-minute drive in the third quarter, that's because Detroit simply said, nah, we'll let you have all the upfront stuff underneath, but if you're going to score, you're going to have to go on a long drive. We're not going to do anything deep, and that's exactly what happened.
100%. I see in there Be safe, guys. Not at all. I wasn't bored. I was enjoying it. I was enjoying a beat down. We don't get beat. We don't do that much. But everybody was relaxed. This is not something Lions fans are used to. Let's be honest here. Relax is not that. We are never relaxed in a game, and we've had a couple relaxing games today. The Giants game, I wasn't worried. This game, I definitely wasn't worried. We get a fumble on the first drive from the Rams. Or sorry, not from the Rams, but from the Jaguars. Man, that was a killer. This team is trending in the way that we all hoped it would. 100% it is. No way, keep the gears high. I think Brock Wright went from backup blocking tight end to the man. I don't think he's the greatest tight end in the world, but I think he's fine for what we have. We don't use the tight end as much as other teams. So we don't need to have a dynamic tight end. We don't. We just need a guy that's serviceable. That's what we got. We got a serviceable tight end in Brock Wright, undrafted guy. You know, we didn't need to have a number one tight end, and we got a second-round pick for it. It's great. I think it's a win for both teams. I wasn't upset about the trade when it happened, and I'm not upset about it now. Can you Lions still make the playoffs? Yes, the Lions can still make the playoffs. Right now, we're 2 games out, and you got the Washington Commanders and Giants tied today, and they got to face each other in 2 weeks again. So I'm not sure about what that is. And you got to root for the Dolphins to win today, by the way. But then you got the Seattle Seahawks too. So we own the tiebreaker between the Giants and Commanders. So you want those 2 teams to lose. That's how the Lions would get in, and the Lions have to win. Imagine a healthy Lions in the playoffs. Pretty good team. I don't think any team. When I look at the Lions right now, of like the physicality, it reminds me of the 49ers. Physical team. You know, they don't have the greatest names in the world. Like Jimmy Garoppolo's not the biggest name in the world, but it's like, ooh, they're a physical team. It's like they just punch you. Right. It's kind of what they remind me of right now, for sure. And I'm satisfied so far with the season. If we miss the playoffs, I'm fine. I've seen progress. You know, the progress has been made, and we've seen it. Let me know in the comment section, do you guys want to draft a quarterback? Do you guys want to draft a quarterback after watching Jared Goff's performance? What do you think, Dan, the quarterback, Jared Goff? What do you think about drafting a quarterback?
I'd be okay with it, but if it's me, I'm taking one in maybe like the, I don't know, 2nd through 4th round, somewhere in there. The 1st round, you know, we're not going to get Bryce Young, and I'm not sold on CJ, so I would rather take Carter, maybe Will Anderson, one of those 2, if we're going to have a top 3 pick. But, yeah, I'm not pulling the trigger on the Ohio State guy. I don't see enough out of him.
I like Jalen Carter a lot. And I think, you know, I've been talking about him for a while, and you see it in the Georgia game and the impact that he could have. I think if you put him on this defense, it would be a difference maker. I think Aidan Hutchinson would get a lot of singles, Aleem McNeil. It would be ridiculous. And I think that could really change the defense from a middle-of-the-road defense to a scarier defense. And I think if you did that with this offense, man, Lions are going to make a playoff run. With that 2nd pick, I think if you went corner, that pretty much makes this defense really damn good. I like Jerry Jacobs. I like Jeff Okudah. You get another one in there. You got 2 second-round picks.
Jr.?
Yeah. Joey Porter Jr., who's been mocked to the Lions quite a bit, and I do like. I can see the Lions getting a situation where, you know, you could take one in the 2nd or 3rd round and be okay and let him sit there for a year or 2. I think that's an option for sure. The Lions are it's one of those things, man. If this keeps up, it's hard to ignore it. It's hard to ignore the success that's being done, and you can't ignore it. You got to be unbiased and look at it the right way, right?
Absolutely.
I do like Bryce Young, though. I think that's different. But I'm pretty sure he's going to Houston, like 99.9% sure he's the first pick in the draft. That he's a difference maker. I'm not sold on Will Levis, and I'm sold on C.J. Stroud to be one of those guys. So I could wait. Keeler Ringo is good, yes, 100%. There's a ton of good corners, and man, oh man, it would be nice to see these guys in there making plays for Detroit Lions. More thoughts on this game. Takeaways. What is your biggest takeaway from this game?
The Lions have arrived. I mean, the start of the year, the offense had been fine. And then obviously we got a little beat up at receiver, offensive line. That really sputtered things down. But seeing how we've gotten healthier there, now you see all the youth on defense, all those first-year rookies that are playing, the second-year guys and third-year guys that are starting to gel. I mean, I don't think we're a top 10 defense right now, but are we top 18 to 24 right now? Probably. This team's becoming very, very balanced, and that's why I hope we finish strong, good momentum. Whether or not we make the playoffs or not, to me, is irrelevant because you're going to keep all that momentum. You're going to keep the fact that, I've talked to you before. I think Dan Campbell isn't exactly an offensive guy or defensive guy. He's a rah-rah guy, but his players love playing for him, and going into free agency, anybody who used to kind of frown upon Detroit might start thinking, hey, that's a place I want to go. So now maybe you win in free agency and you hit a home run or two in the draft. This team's future looks real bright.
Yeah, my takeaway is the physicality of this team. We're a very physical football team, and that's what has arrived for me. And I have been wanting this for a long time, and because that's how you win in December. That's how you win playoff games, is being a physical team that beats you up and chews you up and spits you out. That's why I like the 49ers for so long. What they've done is they built a physical team, this year, last year, and they made a nice run in the playoffs and almost got to the Super Bowl because of the physicality, and that stuff wears on teams. $1.99 super chat from Nick H. Is Swift RB1 again after today? He played well. I think so. Let's see exactly how many snaps both had in this game. So we had Jamal Williams. That's receiving. Let me get to rushing. Rushing, Jamal Williams was 11 for 35, and DeAndre Swift was 14 for 62. So it looks like he's back to being RB1. So huge for him and huge for this football team. Physicality, biting kneecaps. A team that you get nervous, you play because they're that powerful and strong. That is what I think has arrived in Detroit, a black and blue team, a black and blue division where Aaron Rodgers, watch out, man. You're going to get hit. This ain't just like you're going to feel it. Kirk Cousins, you're going to feel it. It's the way it is. And this is not finesse anymore. How many snaps for J-Mo, Mike? I don't know exactly how many snaps. Let me see here. It is Jamison Williams. It just doesn't show any stats for him. I don't know exactly how many snaps. I would probably assume maybe like 5. I think it was really low. Mark, I counted 8. So 8 snaps that he was counted. I know it was really, really low. So we're thinking this was our statement game, Dale. I think it was for a statement game. Yeah, because you beat them down, man. Like this was a beat down from all fronts. I think it's a statement game. I think we've made a couple statement games. The New York Giants game was a statement game. This was another statement game. That, hey, we're not punks anymore. We're physical. Do you think this was a statement game?
100%. I mean, like we talked about earlier, you lost an emotional game to Buffalo. How do you respond? You come out, you punch someone in the mouth, and you kept punching them. We beat Jacksonville down to the point they wanted nothing to do with us. They just wanted the game over probably by the start of the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Got a big game on Sunday. Now, huge game. Huge game for Detroit, and I expect everybody that's going to be there at that game be extremely loud because it's like a playoff game at this point. You have to win. Win, and you have a chance to get in. You do. If they win Sunday, that's 6-7. You have a chance to make the postseason. We continue to shut down their key players. Zach's, yeah, we have done that. But I got to say, their wide receiver got a ton of yards. Well, not a ton, but Christian Kirk, 6 receptions, 104 yards. He was killing it. But other than that, they didn't do anything. And Travis Etienne, but he's a good running back. So you're just going to have that where players are going to get in there. Folks, get those likes up. Let's get to 100 likes. We're 29 likes away. 29 likes away. I'm glad Lawrence is okay. So, oh, yeah, 100%. When I seen Lawrence go down, I don't know what you're thinking, but I thought he's done for the year. I thought he just tore something really bad. $5 super. Very surprised to see Will Harris making plays today. I had all but given up on him. $5. Thank you so much, Tyrese Hicks. Thank you for that super chat. You are a real one. When you saw Trevor Lawrence, did you think he was done for the year? That's what I thought. Oh, nasty.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I was like, oh, man, I was feeling bad for all the Jacksonville Jaguars fans that was in the chat. I was like, oof, really, really sad to tell you this, but that one looked like it was a you're done for the year. But he came back. Glad he came back, and he was able to not have a severe injury, because I don't ask that upon anyone. Definitely don't do that for this. Hold on one second. Well, it doesn't look like Herm is getting on right now, so I'm sure I'll get back with him, and we'll talk about it maybe tomorrow, and then we'll drop a video. But what do you got to say to the folks when we close this bad boy out?
Everybody enjoy this. I mean, we've waited forever for the Lions to kind of right the ship, get some good leadership from the owner on down, and now we appear to have it. We've got a general manager who apparently can just throw a dart at the board and hit a home run as far as a draft pick. So the coaching staff's developing, the players are buying in, and they are all in on it. We're to a point in the season where most teams, those players know, hey, they're not getting to the playoffs. They're starting to emotionally check out. Where our team, sort of like last year, I think we're getting hungrier and hungrier. I wouldn't be surprised if we make a legitimate push for the playoffs. Not going to say we're going to get in, but I think we'll keep it interesting for fans and the players going into the last game of the season.
If the Detroit Lions win on Sunday, this is it. They have a chance. If they lose, they're done. So I fully expect them to come out in this game, and they're going to fight as hard as can be. And I suspect that Jameson will be used a little bit more in this game. Injuries, no injuries. Bugs went down, but he was fine. Other than that, everybody came out clean. Appreciate everybody hanging out. And Detroit Lions win on a big game against Jacksonville, 40-14. With that said, folks, adios.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour. Take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder. Work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters. They're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it.